You want to test a mic? That's what I heard.
Yeah.
I can't hear very well. Me?
Oh,
Oh, I can't hear very well.
that's not fair.
We're good? Audio's good? All right. Good evening. Apologies for the slight delay. We're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Any agenda adjustments this evening? I have none.
Nope.
All right. I'm just going to do a quick PSA. Let's make sure that we are speaking into our mics all night, please, and thank you. Um, 2.1, to approve the minutes of the October 22nd, 2025 Board of Directors meeting.
So moved. Second.
Discussion. All right. Seeing none, I'm going to call for the vote. I'm hearing no audio again. Do we have a second in the in the YouTube audience to confirm? Anybody else's phone going on? Got it now. All right. We're good. Oh, too funny. All right, so I was going to call for the vote. All those in favor? It's unanimous. Public comment. Now's the time when we invite anybody from the public up to the mic. Is there anybody here this evening? Okay, thank you. We're going to move along. 5.1, do we have a petitions and communications? Do you have any?
Yep, just one. I just was going to let everybody know that Western Maine Regional, I'm going to forget the acronym now. Service Center, there it is. Western Maine Regional Service Center Board approved our membership, which is wonderful. So just have to sign off on some paperwork, and we'll be official after this meeting, because I just need confirmation of the approval of minutes. Just want to make sure everybody was aware.
Awesome. Thank you. And then superintendent's report.
You got it. So I have a little bit of report here to give to everyone. I've included the director's updates too, just so that I'm speaking on their behalf. Thank you very much for a few moments to share the latest and greatest in RSU4. I had the pleasure of attending the MSMA conference on October 23rd and 24th. Sam and I attended several sessions on legal updates, the ED 279, and more legal updates. It was extremely informative, and I would like to suggest anyone with an interest in attending do so next year. It was well worth the time. I know a lot of you guys have interest in the law and court cases and such. It was fascinating. So if people have an interest, it'd be great to have you come and join us. We have fun, it's a lot of information, but it's really fun. So if anybody would like to go next year, I just encourage you guys to do so. Stephanie Weber and I set up an RSU4 table at the PTA Trunk or Treat on October 26th to hand out candy to our community. We also encourage district residents to fill out the economic status forms. I was dressed as a tourist and appreciated the support from Stephanie and Sam in my costume and decorations. Appreciated that. I also was able to connect with all administrators last week to discuss their yearly goals. It was great to hear about the work they will be focused on and the extension of an invitation to see them in action for observations. Just as a reminder, administrators receive yearly evaluations. And I hate to steal anybody's thunder here, but I was able to attend the spaghetti dinner on Monday at Oak Hill High School, which was a fundraiser for the boys soccer coach, Jeff Lamont. As you may recall from Scott's board member comments, Jeff had a heart attack during the season, and the event was to help support him and his family. I was able to bring my kiddos, which was awesome, and they were very much enjoying the dessert table, and the event was a success. I'd like to thank our boosters and volunteers who helped organize and execute the event. The event raised close to $5,000 for the family, so congratulations to them on that. Just really quickly, some director highlights here. Sean Knox, our director of operations, conducted reunification meetings and walkthroughs with members from Oak Hill High School and Carrie Ricker staff members. The meetings focused on the specific roles and process if we needed to relocate one school to another. He is also conducting interviews for new food service manager at Oak Hill High School. Those happen today and tomorrow. And additionally, he's holding his lead custodian meeting this week. Sheena Jordan, our Director of Transportation, has been focused on utilizing Bus-Right for communication purposes. Unfortunately, last week we had a bus run that went down and a mechanical issue with a bus causing delays on Monday. However, fortunately, we had the Bus-Right app to communicate with those directly involved and not alert the entirety of the school district. Sheena also attended a training for the new DOT medical certification SOP, and she also held her monthly bus driver meeting. Shelley Mogul, our Director of Curriculum Assessment and Instruction, worked closely with Michaela and Brian with grading practices, ensuring a smooth transition to alignment with the high school. Shelley was also asked to present to new teachers through the WMEC. The first presentation focused on classroom management, and I'm proud that Shelley was Shelley was selected to do this important work. She is also working on fall data, which we'll talk more about as the school year rolls on. Justin Kelleher, Director of Special Education, has been working with special education staff to meet the needs of our students. He's constantly checking in with teachers and techs to ensure all needs are being met. He's following up with the state regarding pre-K classroom material procurement as part of our support for onboarding services from Child Development Services. Justin and Sam also attended a main care workshop as we have the latest, we have the latest information on main care billing. Justin will also have his monthly meeting with our board certified behavior analysis this week. And Jim Palmer, our Director of Adult Ed and Athletic Director at the high school, had a busy weekend in playoff sports. Oak Hill High School boys soccer lost a close match against Halldale 2-1. It was a hard-fought battle with lots of excitement right up until the end of the game. Our football team won their playoff game against Freeport on Saturday, and will play Winthrop on Friday night on their lights. And in adult education, Jim has a new trifold that he'll be putting out there soon. It has info about some of the core programs that he offers consistently, but a couple of new programs such as digital photography for newbies and some workforce training offerings. And last but not least, Stephanie Weber has been assisting with the finalization of she's the Director of Technology, just in case you didn't know. I didn't say that. Assisting with the finalization of our October counts and ensuring accuracy in those reports. And she's also been working on protocols in the event of winter weather, device distribution, and connectivity. And that concludes my report. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Everybody good? Oh, thought you were raising your hand. Okay.
Feel free.
5.5 brings us to, which is our student rep report.
Yeah, welcome, Rocco Mastriano. It's nice to see you.
I can go first. Just grab your mic and hold the button on to turn it on. Okay. So I guess first I want to say that throughout the month of October, we've been collecting socks for Socktober donations that are donated to the New Beginnings Shelter in Lewiston. Our goal this year was 400 pairs of socks to be donated, which was the highest we've set the goal so far. And we ended up, as of like last week, getting 459 socks, which was pretty awesome. And so those will be donated soon. And I was also informed that over the past 4 years, we have collected and donated 1,200 pairs of socks. So very happy about that. Next, FBLA will be holding our installation ceremony this Monday the 10th to install all new members and officers. We've also been collecting donations for the holiday raffle calendar, so be on the lookout for tickets of that. We draw one winner for every day in December, and it's very exciting. And FBLA will be having our Breakfast with Santa fundraiser in December. I don't think we have a date quite set for that yet, but I'd have to check. And profits from that activity go to our state service project, which this year is the Maine Alzheimer's Association. Student Voice is one of the newer clubs in Oak Hill High School that kind of stemmed out of the civil rights team. It's run by Mrs. Webster, and it's based off of, she said, like the PBIS system to create positive change in the school. This club, as well as others like Yearbook, have begun meeting once again this year. And I also feel like it is worth mentioning that this will be the second year that Oak Hill has not had a robotics team. And then also Academic Decathlon, as you'll soon hear, is planning a trip to Boston to visit their Museum of Science, which has a lot of relevance to our science topic of electromagnetism this year. Academic Decathlon is also hosting a bingo night at the high school on the 14th, where we'll have games, snacks, and prizes like an Xbox and a Nintendo Switch. And then we're also doing an ongoing fundraiser right now, selling raffle tickets for kids in the district to win a ride to school in a fire truck. So those are our plans and fundraising efforts to make it to nationals in California this year. All right, turning it to Rocco.
All right. Is this thing on? Yeah, it's on. All right. Sports have been going very well this fall, especially with, as Mr. Aliberti mentioned, the football team going to the semifinals at Winthrop on Friday at 7 p.m. If you're not able to attend the game, it's going to be live streamed. And I think that link is on the Oak Hill website, but I forget where that link is. Soccer played very well. We made it to our semifinal game, but unfortunately lost to Halldale. For cross country, Abigail Gervais made it to the state competition and placed 14th. The student community support for all sports this fall has been amazing, and we hope this continues into the winter sports season. The Drama Club held auditions and posted the cast list for Six, the musical, earlier this week. The show is a modern retelling of the story of Henry VI's 6 wives, and shows will be taking place in January after the holiday break. OHLA has begun work on their holiday baskets and will be collecting toys to be donated to families in need. Donation collection will be on Saturday, December 13th in the Mixers parking lot. And then, as Mr. Aliberti also mentioned, it's okay. We had Jeff Lamont had his triple bypass surgery on his heart, and the high school hosted a spaghetti dinner to help fundraise for Jeff on Monday. This turnout at the event was absolutely amazing, and it was awesome to see the community support such a valued member of our little community we got going. There are many super awesome prizes up for grabs in the raffles, including 4 Patriots tickets, which I guess there was a crazy bidding war going on for that one. And yeah, that's it.
All right. Thank you. Actually, I am going to present a motion to move 7.2 on our agenda this evening. We should have done the adjustment to before old business.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? I just think our old business might take a little bit longer than 7.2 needs to sit here for. That would be it. All right. So all those in favor, take the call for the vote. It's unanimous. Thank you. All right. So that brings us to 7.2 to approve a field trip for Oak Hill High School Academic Decathlon Club to travel to the Boston Museum of Science and Massachusetts Institute of Technology Museum on November 18th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Hold the button down.
Yeah, sorry.
Now?
Now.
So I'm Derek Anderson. I teach at the high school, for those who don't know me, and one of the classes I teach is Academic Decathlon, and it's a class and club, and we do a yearly competition. And each year the subject changes. So this year, for instance, the theme is the 1920s. And the science unit, as Aspen mentioned, is electromagnetism. So our plan is to take 16 students on the 18th, which is in 13 days, to Boston via Amtrak. So we drive to the Freeport station, board a 6:43 a.m. train to North Station, and then mostly walking through the city to. There's a little exhibit at Mass General on medicine from that period that's free that I've heard is really good. Then there is there are a couple exhibits at the Museum of Science that are highly relevant to what we're doing. And then a few things at MIT around engineering and the use of electronics that could be beneficial as well. And we're hoping to walk to Harvard Square if there's time, get some food, and then make our way back. So we'll be returning to Oak Hill on the 5:20 train from North Station. Should be back at the high school about 9 p.m. This is a trip that Jamie Bushy and I have done before, so we're the two chaperones set to go. Each one of these things we're doing, so the train, the museums, they all have group rates for students, so it ends up about $36 per kid, and we have that all fundraised from efforts this fall. So other than maybe their shopping, there's really no cost to kids, which is ideal. Any questions?
All right, I'm going to call for the vote. All those in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Derek.
All right, we're going to switch back to old business 6.1 to discuss presentation topics for administrators and directors.
All right, let's take it away. All right, so at the last meeting we had discussed the potential of changing things up and having more in-depth presentations around things that the board could help with, which again really appreciate that. It's great feeling to have that support. Couple of things that I had written down that I had ideas that were given to me were around, or that we had talked about last time, were like the data presentations, like really important to hear those, like beginning and end, like how did the work out as far as data was concerned, and the interventions that we might do to support that change in data from fall to spring. Then staff retainment, in particular, educational technicians. That was one that was brought to my attention, which I appreciate that. So that would be a good topic of discussion. But I'm just looking for others that people might have thought about between the last meeting and this one that you might want to hear further about. So just opening up the floor for conversation around that.
Said data retention. Were you referencing also my desire to have kind of an overview of what are we doing for the kids who are really excelling and how are we pushing them?
Yeah, so not necessarily when we talk about data, like, I mean, I guess it could be part of it, Nancy, and I say that because when we're looking at data, we're looking at all aspects, right, of student life and what we're doing to help support them achieve, whether that's, teacher assessments that's measured by teacher assessments and WEA data, things of that nature, right? So, like, if you're thinking you'd like to hear specifically what you did ask me about as far as like AP and dual enrollment stuff, like we can fold that in there. I don't see that being an issue.
I would like, well, I may not be here, but I would love to hear presentation data about not just the high school level, but all the way through. What
Sure.
are we doing to really challenge and push our kids who are
So,
gifted and talented?
Yeah. I mean, if you're looking specifically on that aspect of it, I mean, we have somebody who coordinates gifted and talented. That could be part of it could be a presentation in itself. That's no problem, Nancy.
I think that would be nice.
Yeah, that's great. I don't know, where are you going? Is there some place that you're going? I don't know.
Far, far away.
On that note, it might be kind of interesting to invite some students to give a snapshot of what's going on in the classroom. So if there's major topics or major themes that administrators would like to highlight, it would be cool to hear from young people.
Sure. So student participation,
Yeah,
I
some
gotcha.
sort of student voice. I mean, it's great to have the student reps, but to hear kind of some of the what's going on in the
Yeah.
classroom could be interesting.
Absolutely. Other thoughts, guys?
I have one more.
Wait, you're not going to be here.
I know, but I want to keep you busy while I'm gone.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Nancy. Appreciate that.
I wonder if we could do a parent survey to really just delve into. Keep going. Keep laughing. A parent survey to ask a way of getting feedback. What are your big concerns at this point in time? Where do you wish the board was more focused? And delve into those topics to see if there's something that we're not aware of that we should be focusing on.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I laughed is just that surveys can be overkill sometimes, and it's not. You know, we send out surveys for all kinds of stuff, right? And it's really about people participating. And my hope is that if we were to put something together like that, that they would do it, which is great.
And typically the people that participate are the ones who aren't happy.
Which would
Usually
be, which
the
is
happy
fine.
ones just don't do it.
It's okay, and I would just say that their voice matters too, right? So, I mean, it's good to have the information. That's for sure. Appreciate that, Nancy.
Go ahead, Cody.
Yeah, I've said over the years, I would like to see I know the state and federal testing is important because we compare our students with other students, but I would like to know, like, if a third grader comes in reading at a second grade level, where they leave from. You know, what the majority, making sure we have growth, because that third grader coming in at a second grade reading level grows to a third grade reading level, which will grow to a four. You know what I mean? Yep. I would like to see that more individual stat for our students than compared to the generic testing that we do for the state against the state and federal.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like, Robbie, I mean, you've been a big proponent of that, since I've been, associated with the school district, just like, how are our students doing year over year? Yeah, I appreciate that. It's good.
Impact of Dean of Students positions at the middle school in Carrie Ricker, as we're thinking about the investments that we're making budget-wise. Also thinking about if there's any policies that we've implemented or changed to hear whether or not it's working.
Yeah, I was just thinking about the one that you had mentioned in regards to sportsmanship.
Yeah,
And that was something that, I thought was a great idea. So it was like around the policies, you said. So sportsmanship in particular. There was another one you mentioned too. Yeah. Well, which we're going to have to take up anyway as a policy because of that law that's in place. Yeah.
So thinking about the decisions that we make here and how it's directly impacted.
Yeah, it's great.
Would be the higher level conversations that I think I would like to have.
Yeah.
So we're not getting in the weeds of things.
That's great. Yeah. I mean, there's plenty there, you guys, for us to come up with, presentations for your inquiries. That's for sure. I appreciate it. If anybody has any others, by all means, I mean, feel free to chime in now, or you can shoot me an email. It's no problem whatsoever.
Still planning the NWIA testing goals, results.
Yeah, you got it. Yep, absolutely.
So
Yeah, you had asked about the data, because I think it actually was you, Scott, that mentioned that you really like to see that, the comparison from fall to
Yeah, and I like
fall,
somebody had
spring.
mentioned putting an additional checkpoint in the middle of the year, which I
Yeah.
think was really nice.
Yeah, we do. I mean, we have done winter testing for a very long time, Scott. And I think there was some question in regards to, like, I'm not going to say validity of the tests, but to actually see growth. It was recommended fall to spring. But, I mean, regardless, the data piece is important. We can make sure that we get that info out there.
Yeah, I think
That's good.
Our own personal growth, our own individual growth
Yeah.
here in this district is super important, like
Yep.
Robbie mentioned.
Yep.
However, when you compare this to the rest of the state or even other states, it's still important.
Of
'cause
course.
people look at, when I'm thinking about moving to this district,
Mhm.
let me look at the school. What are their testing
That's right.
results? So.
That's right. No, that's good. Appreciate it. Good.
don't have anything. No. Mm-mm.
It's fine.
No,
know.
I thought Chris's was a really good one. I was like, I don't even think I could have come up with that one. So.
Did you? So
Oh.
I noticed tonight you mixed it up a little bit and kind of went over the. You sort of did all the directors' reports.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that something you feel like is going to stick, or are we going to hear from the directors themselves again?
I don't know. I guess you tell me. I mean,
yeah, let's talk about that.
yeah,
How did it go for you tonight? How did it feel? How did you like it?
I mean, that's a good question. So I enjoyed the quick, just quick, hot topics that were discussed. But I feel like perhaps there were some things that you mentioned that I had additional questions on, and I don't know if I would direct them to you. I would like to direct them to the administrator, but they're not there. So I don't know.
I gotcha. Yeah, and it could be like, I mean, I could give some thought, Scott, to like, if we continue with me giving the report, like, how do you then ask the questions? Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's valid. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because I mean, it's a report, right? So they're supposed to just be telling us, and it's not really a question-answer situation.
Sure.
So
Yeah, maybe it's something where it's like, you ask me those questions and then I, find out and get back to you guys. That might be a way to do it too. Give some thought to it. Let me know. Sorry, Chris.
I wonder about, like, some organizations use a consent agenda, which essentially is like you send the agenda ahead of time and there's reports that are provided and you kind of consent as a board. Like when we accept minutes, then you can accept the consent agenda, which could have the reports in it. The benefit of that is that it gives the board opportunity to ask the questions ahead of time. So like if we see what the reports are and if we have questions, we can say, Marco, we'd like you to elaborate on X, Y, and Z.
That's a great
and
idea.
he can be prepared. The weight of it goes back on us, though, so that means we have to read the full agenda and be prepared before coming to the meeting, which I know
everybody does.
Well,
Everybody
So-
does.
well, it's not like he wouldn't be reading the reports, though, because we went. I mean, for public record, yeah, I guess you submit the agenda to public record, but it would be nice because we do have people that watch on YouTube and
Yeah.
listen in
And
watch
I-
at
and
a
I
later
would-
time,
I-
right? So
And I wouldn't have a problem with that at all, Scott, right? Like, I mean, it doesn't bother me. I mean, I'm happy to put it. It's great, as far as for, having a deadline, right? So, like, if I put that out ahead of time, you guys, if you have questions, you know what I mean? I can give you that information. And at the board meeting, I have no problem reading my report. That's not an issue at all. I mean, it may be a little redundant for you guys, but at the same time, like you said, it's perfect as far as record is concerned and people that might be listening. No issue whatsoever on that.
Go ahead, Doug.
Does that just mean that we would just respond by email? We would get like you typically send like the agenda. We would just respond, got it, or something like that. So
You mean
how
as
that
far
would-
as like the consent aspect of
Yeah,
things? No, I think it's just because I don't think you need to like acknowledge that you've received it. It's gone to you. I think that's
Okay.
where.
It just- Okay.
Oh, I
Alright,
see.
I'm
Okay,
trying
I
to
appreciate
work my
that.
brain through
But,
how does it technically
from
work?
you, if you had questions to Marco's report, you could say, Marco, can you please be prepared to elaborate on this part of this director's report for the in-person meeting?
And I would say that in the meeting at the beginning, or I would say that
you
when I
would say that to Marco ahead of time.
ahead of time.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's interesting. Huh.
Go ahead, Scott. Just make sure you're really, really close.
yeah, I'm just with doing that. Would we have to just simply reply to Marco only to ask questions? Because if you
Yes.
Yes.
yeah, because if everybody's involved and this starts back and forth, then it
Right. There should be
becomes-
no back
we're
and
talking
forth.
about stuff that doesn't. Yeah. Okay.
It's just to have them to Marco prior to so that they're prepared to answer them during the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Something we could try. Or
Yeah, I have no issue trying. I think it's a great. Let's give it a shot. Why not? What do we got to lose, guys? Come on, right? Oh, efficiency. Oh, time. Oh, all right. Okay.
That's what we're hoping to gain, right?
Yeah, did you guys write down your guesses?
I did.
Yeah, I thought so. Mm-hmm. Scott didn't get his in time.
One last.
I know.
You guys are funny.
Anything else about the reports? Go ahead, Doug.
I do like the open format about asking what we would like in the reports. So personally, I think that if every quarterly or halfway through, if you ask again, if we found that doing the reports, there's some things that came up, I think that would be. I appreciate the fluidity of the reporting.
Asking you what you need, Doug. I got you, buddy. I got you.
In a public format way, like I think with all.
Yeah, absolutely. Not a problem.
And if there's ever anything that comes up, right, between meetings, just send it to Marco and I.
We got it.
Yeah, we got this. All right. Anything else before we move on? Moving right along. I'm on the wrong page.
Let's talk about Libby Tozier.
6.2 to discuss Libby Tozier long-term plan.
All right. This is me again. Just a couple of things I wanted to bring to your attention, and I shared this information at the Finance and Facilities Committee meeting earlier. I had sent out some documents to you guys last week. The first one was some recommendations that were made by the subcommittee in regards to if we were to close both buildings, what would that look like? And there was a phased approach to that. Additionally, I found a presentation that was done for the 22-23 school year that had some information on it regarding if we were to close both buildings, what might that look like as far as grade spans for Carrie Ricker, Oak Hill Middle School, and Oak Hill High School, right? We'd retain a school in each town. And so all I wanted to do this evening is talk a little bit about the timeline up to this point, just so that everybody's on the same page, and just give everybody an opportunity to kind of like mull that information over, and basically discuss, what are our thoughts, because I think some of the information that I provided to Finance and Facilities surprised a couple of the members, and just because of recollection of the decisions, or at least the proposal moving forward. So I want to make sure that we're actively talking this through so that we can plan. I mean, that's what you guys had asked for at our last meeting, given the fact that we had applied. You had approved the application for SRRF funds, which I made sure that I emailed and then brought to the State House myself and handed it to somebody and got a receipt for a piece of paper, which was good. But the reality is that, we have some time now between now and when we find out what are we thinking, long term, as far as our configuration is concerned. So without further ado, I'll just jump into the timeline for this, and I can get everybody a copy of this timeline. It might be it's a different timeline, Christy. Yeah, that would, if you don't mind, Sam, that would be super helpful. I did hand it out to Finance and Facilities.
Oh, yeah.
Did Robbie write on his?
No.
No, nice, because I did on mine. I can't give it to you. But if you guys don't mind, I'll just start. And then Sam, thanks so much again for making the copies. I do appreciate it. The consolidation subcommittee was formed in the winter of the 23-24 school year. When I started looking at agenda items and minutes from that subcommittee, that's when it had first come to light, or at least, that's when things were documented. So it was, January of 2024. And so obviously during that time frame, they did their work. They went to the buildings, they reviewed documents, and they came up with a recommendation for phases for closing. And the first phase that was recommended was to close Sabattis Primary School for this school year, 25-26. And phase number 2 was to close Libby Tozier for school year 28-29. And there was a caveat to that if we closed Libby Tozier, that there would need to be reorganization, and it would require an addition to Oak Hill Middle School. Now, with that being said, and this is where it's like we've kind of lived this once before, that didn't fly, right? I mean, for local taxpayers to pick up a substantial amount of money, I mean, essentially all of it, to pay for an addition, it's not going to go, right? At least and I think you guys, I don't know if you guys would agree with me or not, if that's a correct okay, all right. Just making sure. All right. But the reality is that, okay, so then what does that mean? And then phase 3 of that recommendation was to relocate central office. There were some different ideas and some considerations to take into consideration regarding relocating central office. And then in August of that same year, so August 21st of 2024, the consolidation subcommittee voted on what they were going to do. So 3 members vote to close Libby Tozier, 6 voted to close Sabattis Primary School, and 1 to close both Libby Tozier and Sabattis Primary School. And that information was shared with the Finance and Facilities Committee. And so then we pick it up after the summer, September 25th of 2024, the Finance and Facilities continues the discussion and supports the formation of a new subcommittee, and they report that out to the board. So in October 9th of 2024, the board approves a new subcommittee, and then essentially a month later, in November 20th of 2024, board decides to oversee school closure instead of the committee. So they felt that instead of just one subcommittee doing the work, the board's going to shoulder the burden and get this done, which you guys did. So the board approves to close Sabattis Primary School. That was in January of 2025. Thanks, Sam. And essentially, you guys oversaw the closure from January to August. During that time frame, we also applied for a major capital school construction program, and on the July 9th, the priority list was released, and Libby Tozier came in at 76 out of 95 schools, so pretty low on that. So we knew that we weren't going to be high enough to get any state funding for either new construction or major reconstruction of Libby Tozier. And so, as you guys recall, just last meeting in October 22nd of 2025, SRF application was approved by the board for submission. And so that's kind of where we're at as far as moving forward with the school itself. I did put on there an additional note that I found that presentation, a presentation from 22-23 that shows the closure of Libby Tozier and Sabattis Primary School with the following grade spans: Carrie Ricker pre-K to 2, Oak Hill Middle School 3 to 6, and Oak Hill High School 7 to 12. But the reorganization would require portables at the high school, and they had drawn some maps up for that. So I had shared some of that information out to you guys last week, just so that you had some time to kind of digest it a little bit. But at the same time, I think it's important that we start talking about, you guys had asked for it last week, we start continuing to talk about what are we doing moving forward. I did share this additional piece of information about enrollment year over year. We're down 7 students from last year, which is not significant. Obviously we'd like to keep it at the same level or higher. And that really, a bulk of that is at Oak Hill High School, where they've gone from 405 students to 435 students. I think that's right, 35, something around there. Anyway, so with that being said, there's some big classes at the high school. If we also need to take into consideration what are our what do our enrollments look like for our elementary school students, because they're going to be the ones that are potentially impacted by a change, right? And it may drive how we move forward. So I just wanted to make sure that information was out to everybody, that you've had a chance at least to hear me talk, and then talk about what do we want to do, where would we like to go, what information do you guys need, to make an informed decision, because I'm happy to do whatever it takes to get the things that you guys need.
I just wanted to mention that I had Sam print off the capital improvement plan for you guys for Libby Tozier, because I think it really lays out nicely sort of the expected things that we may come up with in the next few years that have to be done. On the back of that, it sort of lays out the totals, and so that's several $1 million over the next 5 years. But I didn't want to point to anything specific, but just these are some of the things that are going to have to be done to the school.
No, it's well said, right? I mean, that's another consideration, Scott, right? Like if the option is to continue to keep the building open, like we know that there's going to be some money that needs to be put into it to keep it running in tip-top shape. Yeah.
Go ahead, Nancy.
If we were to do this, and I look at, we're moving grades 7 through 12 to Oak Hill High School, what does that do from a sports complex perspective? And
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be something we'd need to talk to, whoever's going to be putting the portables in, right? And when you say sports complex, or you talk
Sports,
about
I mean,
fields?
7th and 8th graders,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
we're
Where they're going
already
to be
short
playing?
with fields, right?
Yeah.
Or gym time or whatever it might be.
Right.
How does that impact that?
Yeah, significantly. Nancy, it does. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about, and Jim, please, if I'm way off base, tell me, okay? And Michaela, you too. Just thinking about, the facility itself, right? Like if we're talking about practices, it may be that we're busing kids to the middle school for practices. Do you know what I mean? And I say middle school, what we're calling the middle school right now, for practices, because that's where the field space is. And then as far as like gym use is concerned, right? I mean, we'd be looking at, all of our programs, especially if we're talking about running a high school and 2 grade levels of middle school, in one building, because space is going to be a premium, especially in that gym aspect of things. You're looking at one other thing I'll mention, Nancy, and then I'll be quiet, is that, when teachers sometimes have prep periods at the high school, there's not like another class that's happening there, right? I mean, that would have to happen. It would be a reality of it, because you'd be using some of the parts of the building to house 8th graders on their own, maybe portables for 7th graders on their own, and then the high school, taking up the rest of the space, if you will. But we would have to be creative about that. You'd be scheduling. Mel used to say it this way, and I wish she was here because I'll probably get it wrong. But Mel used to say it this way: like instead of scheduling classes for student needs, you'd be scheduling classes around open classes. Like, you know what I mean? It wouldn't be driven by what the students would be able to get or would want. This is a good question, Nancy. Thank you for that. Jim, is there anything else to take into consideration with that? Do you mind coming to the microphone, bud? I'm sorry. Just to make sure you're on record.
Yeah, I definitely think we would have to bus. We have a hard enough time, especially in the winter, fitting all our teams in, just with the high school teams, with JV and varsity. So I think the busing would be the best option to continue to use the middle school for that.
That's just off the cuff. I mean, yeah. I just think about field hockey in particular, Jim, at Oak Hill, when we, up until a few years ago, they were going over to Cary Ricker to use the field there. Yep.
I have a question about enrollment.
Happy to help with that.
So this presentation from 22-23 has it based on an approximate 1,400. And we're at what now?
1257. That's what I think. 1,257.
Okay. And do you recall, or did you happen to stumble upon the class sizes with this proposal?
No.
I know we talked about that too at some point.
No. I can double check it. But I don't believe it has the numbers for class sizes.
I think if I recall, and don't hold me to this, but the 7th grade class is pretty large. Michaela, is the 7th grade bigger than 100? Or is it the 6th grade?
I can tell you.
Okay.
Shelley, you'll need to be on the microphone, please.
I already
already looked it up. So 99 in the 7th grade, 97 in the 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
6th grade 81, 5th grade 90.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And 1256, Marco. You were really close.
Just one off.
Go ahead, Robbie.
Are we planning to stay on the construction list? Do we have to reapply every year?
Well, I mean, it's not every year, unfortunately, right? Like, it'd be great if it was every year, but I think it's been between 7 and 10 years. Is that correct? Do I have that correct? 7 years. The last time it was.
This
Yeah,
is the last time they had the list.
That's
but I
right.
mean, now that they have the list back, are we applying every time they have a list?
yeah. I mean, we can definitely plan on doing that, Robbie. The issue is that the next time that they are going to accept applications, or you know what I mean, it won't be for another 7 years, most
Right.
likely. Yeah, 7 to 10
Okay.
years.
Because that was the perception that we were in when we proposed the addition. Why weren't we applying for state funds?
That's correct.
And the list wasn't open was the reason why we weren't.
Right. And I mean, you know, what's great is that we've done it, right? So like at least we have an idea of where we would land on it. And I mean, you're right. I mean, you know, we cannot. I think I told you guys this. Like, we won't be penalized if we put money into, you know, Libby Tozier we're talking about. We won't be penalized for that, right? Like, it's like do no harm, I think is
Right.
what it was. Is
Yeah.
that what they called it? Anyway, so we won't be penalized if we put money into the building and then, you know, 10 years from now. But I mean, that's a long ways away, you know?
I did see Doug's hand go up after Robbie's. He's passing to you. We'll go back to you then.
Back in 22-23, though, we weren't going to be picking up CDS kids, so where are they going to fall in this?
That's a good question, Diane. Yep. Yeah, I mean, because we're up, you know, obviously numbers of students in pre-K this year, which is great, you know, but something to think about, right? Consideration. It's a good point. And then I guess the other thing is too, right? I'm pivoting to Justin here. Is, you know, 3-year-olds would be our next group that we would be taking on. So there'll be kiddos there with that.
Right.
Right,
They have to
right.
be in.
Yeah, that's a good
and
point.
That's why they have the special bathrooms too. But
Yeah.
not to jump ahead, Doug, but his question about this. What are they doing now for the ones that are part of that program? Are they there all day in the program, in the pre-K program?
Yeah, I mean, we can have Justin, if you don't mind.
No,
Is that okay?
I don't mind. Sorry,
Oh,
Doug, to
okay.
jump ahead.
Yeah, right now we have 24 4-year-olds. 4 of them are in our pre-K that get special education services. There's a larger number of them that just receive speech, but they receive that either in the pre-K program or parents are bringing them in to receive the services. So,
Right, but are they there for the entire session? Or they
like
come
the
and
more
go.
they come more, yeah. For the kids that are coming in for speech. Some
Right.
kids just come in for speech
Right.
services, then head home. They're not part of our pre-K program, but the students who receive special ed are there for the whole session.
And do we suspect that the 3-year-olds will come in for their services and then leave?
Yeah, so good question. There's a bunch of different models out there. One of them is that students would come in and receive things like speech, OT, PT, and as far as special education services, there's actually the thought that we might push in with like an itinerant teacher to like a daycare or wherever they're attending. So it's kind of up in the air whether or not we'll have a ton of 3-year-olds in the building, but they'll definitely come for services.
I appreciate that, Justin. Thanks for the clarification.
Could you tell us how long that lasts? So speech, how long is that? If they're
Yeah, a
coming just
typical
for that?
session's like 30 minutes.
30 minutes. And
Might be twice a week.
And there's 20 kids that come in for 30 minutes. So
So there's 13 kids right now that receive
13.
speech services out of the 24 total students that we have. 24 4-year-olds anyways, and obviously 3-year-olds would increase that number.
But you could stagger them throughout the whole entire day and only have a handful, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. We also have some, contracts with other folks that they take them to clinics, and there's a lot of different options out there. So
Go ahead, Doug. Your turn.
I guess I feel like it would be nice to kind of brainstorm. Is there an option? What would be our options beyond just portables and building an addition at Oak Hill Middle School? Are there other things, or are there, what is the realm of options? Just to brainstorm that, and then come up with a list, and then kind of cross off if they're unfeasible. You know what I mean? Like kind of that idea, as a group.
Go ahead, Scott.
So I feel kind of personally responsible with this, that we've gotten so deep into the weeds on this subject personally, because I know I was the one who initially brought it up. But I think it's all really, for me, it comes back to trying to foresee the future and see what the budget's going to look like, and knowing that we're going to have an increase every single year. And again, I'm asking the board, we need to think of ways to reduce the budget so that we can kind of, we're never going to be net zero. It's always, there's always going to be an increase, but what do we do to keep it reasonable? So we obviously saw a big help with closing SPS. So my brain is like, okay, well, what's next? What else can we do? And I'm not advocating for closing a school necessarily, because I think it is a monumental task, and you're cramping them in, and the space can be utilized for things. But we're kind of at that impasse where what do we do? Because you can't continue to increase budget year over year over year and then expect to have to go through the whole process 3 times, 4 times before it goes through. I mean, can we put back on the table potentially in the next few years looking to close central office? I would like to know what it costs to operate this building. What's it cost us for the land and the upkeep and the electricity, the heating? What if we close this? And I feel like that would be a smaller how many employees are in this building, and is there space elsewhere to move central office? We're gonna have to do something, and if it's not gonna come with other budgetary cuts, you gotta find it somewhere.
Well, I see on Facebook a lot, and the administrators are probably going to send me daggers here, but I see on Facebook a lot where there's like the administrators that only have rolling carts, and they don't even have an office in a lot of schools, and some schools in the country. It's just a methodology that they follow. So Marco could take one of their offices.
His rolling desk.
I have no problem.
Or you could have a rolling desk too.
I'll just roll around. Yeah.
Go ahead, Doug.
I remember Katie mentioned that there needs to be at least one privacy kind of room was necessary, right, as part of the ongoings of administration stuff, so they can't.
Yeah, I think there were some considerations in regards to that.
We need to be able to have confidential conversations.
Yeah.
That came up with putting them in Kerry Ricker, actually, the administration, if you kind of remember. She had talked about the rooms, just kind of using space, putting admin there when that came up. I could probably find the notes on that. I'm sure we have them somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I definitely wouldn't want to lose this space. It's a great space. It's nice to have our meetings here, and I've had meetings with Marco here, and everybody's got their own offices. It's very professional, and it's a great environment. But if we're not going to be responsible fiscally in other areas,
yeah, I mean, I don't think. I let you take responsibility for it, Scott. But I mean, it's a pertinent conversation, right? Like, it's important to bring it forward so that we're talking about it. I mean, we need to be able to talk about it openly, which is great. So I think it's wonderful that we are. I mean, there's a number of different things that we can do moving forward here. I mean, as far as like, what's the feasibility of moving things or closing things? I mean, that's not an issue. There's no issue with that whatsoever. Because it needs to be done, or are we maintaining the building as it is, knowing that, like, the cost to do that in comparison to other options is just, it makes more sense. I don't know.
I mean, closing a building definitely gives you that instant potential, temporary relief, right? But I still think, and I think we did a great job. I'm not saying that we did a perfect job, But I think we did a great job last year in trying to reduce the costs. However, I still think that there's more in there that can be weeded out. Right? We need to make sure that we're using all of the things that we're paying for and we're using them wisely, and we're, getting the best deal when needed, when necessary, from every single line item, whether it's $5 or a $2,000 courier. I'll bring that one.
Yeah, no, I think it's
That was my thing from
no,
4
no,
years
no.
ago, right?
No, but I think it's important. I mean, we talked about this in finance and facilities. Like, it's that perception, right? And we need to make sure that people trust us to do that.
Go ahead, Doug.
So again, going back, and I'm just throwing it out for a discussion point. What about closing Libby Tozier and tearing it down? And if we built a new building that could accommodate there on that land, I'm just throwing it out there for discussion. Is that would our payments be $1 million a year? Just if we're paying $1 million to upgrade the building, would we be having potentially payments of $1 million a year to rebuild a building there? I don't know. I just
Have we?
No.
I see. Yeah, I mean that makes sense, right? Instead of putting $1 million into just the upgrades, if that's the amount of the new node or construction bill. Have we figured out the land ownership yet?
I'm sorry. Can you say it again, Nicole? What'd you say? Land ownership?
Yeah. I know Katie was working on that last year or the year before with the consolidation committee. I don't know that ever got resolved on where the lines are and
There. That's a good question.
it's good to put that on the table, Doug. But if we don't own the land still, right, it may not be an option.
I mean, there's
or we still
plenty.
have to
Just so you know, there's plenty of land there. I mean, I think if I read it, you guys have to. I've been reading a lot, as far as the documents, because I think there's 14 acres attached to that building that we
For
own.
Libby Tozier?
Yeah.
That we own? Oh, okay.
I think going back is that at the time, Katie kind of implied that the land ownership or it was kind of fuzzy with the town of Litchfield for
Mhm.
whatever reason because of the senior center there. The way
Okay.
the deed was, it wasn't
sure.
as clear cut.
Turned
when the
over.
deed
It
got
wasn't turned over.
as-
Got it.
yeah.
Got it.
So
Got it.
it
That
needed
makes
some
sense
review.
now. Yeah,
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I can definitely work on that too.
Matt was first.
I was just going to clarify that it was an issue when the RSU was formed with the deeding of the property over to the RSU, and I don't think we ever received final clarification on.
See if we can do that, Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
And go ahead, Diane.
I was just going to say that Farwell and Lewiston put an addition on on Farwell School, on Farwell Street. That was a modular addition, but it's connected to the school. It's all brick and everything. I mean, have we ever thought of going that route?
It's funny. There's now that you say that, there's a modular that is attached to the Oak Hill High School. Room 105. 105? Is that right? Is that right? Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. Did you want me to? I can.
I'm just saying that maybe that's a possibility as well. It's not. I remember seeing it came on a truck and they just put the units down and connected everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything was prefab.
Yep.
Do you know by law, do we still have to purchase modulars and we can't lease them? Yeah.
No, we can't lease them. That's
You
how
can't.
that's how we got this building. We had modulars at Sabatis, and the leases were up. The state wasn't going to, because the state was paying for the lease. State was paying for the lease. They ended the lease program, I want to say, in late 90s, and we were paying $20,000 a year per building. We had 4 of them out there for Sabatis. So we were renting a place in the Mixers Mall that was the superintendent's office at the time. And when we got rid of those leases with that $20,000 a year, we knew that the state would give us $20,000 a year for the purchase of this building for 4 years. So that's how we purchased this building. Was when? Am I right, Sharon? When it was up for sale. So we bought this building with that $20,000 a year that the state was giving us when we got rid of those portables in front of Sabatis.
I wonder
So-
if that law still exists where we have to purchase and we can't just lease.
I
Just
don't
curious.
know
I mean,
that
that-
it's.
that was a
I don't
while-
know that it's
That
changed.
was a while ago, yeah.
Yeah. Well, for that reason, because we looked at purchasing outright, and it was like $60,000 a unit. And if we leased them, the state wouldn't pay for it. We were going to have to pay for them. That's why we got rid of them.
Well, according to Copilot, you can. Just has to meet guidelines and
Yeah.
obtain approval from the main DOE.
Right.
So, but I mean, this was a very quick question,
Yeah.
like no specifics. I have a question about the 5-year capital improvement plan.
Mm-hmm.
Where did we come up with these as the capital improvements that are required for Libby Tozier?
No, I don't think they're requirements at all. They're recommendations.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, these are
It's-
recommendations.
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
the
they're not-
5-year plan.
Yeah.
Capital improvement plan.
Are these from like that evaluation that was done years and years ago?
Yeah, I mean, you can have, if you don't mind, Sean, just speak to your process, for coming up with these. And he did this at Finance and Facilities, too, so it shouldn't be a problem at all.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah,
You're good,
this,
Sean.
There was a 5-year capital plan that was created a couple years ago. This is basically modified from that plan, based on the assessment that I've done since I've been here with myself and contractors and whatnot. I restructured it to highlight health and safety first. Before it was just a list. So it's similar to what the SRF state model has as far as the priorities. So you'll see health and safety, repairs, and then down through other. That's basically how it was. That's what it was derived from, and then edited from there. Yep.
Okay, but they're not required, so we're not necessarily looking at
No.
No.
about $1 to $2 million per year.
$1 to $2 million per year. I'm just seeing. There's like 1 year there. Oh, there's 2 years. I see.
Well, there's 3. I
3
mean, the
years,
first
yeah.
year is the 266.5.
You're gonna ease into it, Nicole.
Yeah. I just jumped ahead instead of,
I'm just kidding.
and that's for the.
The first two add up to almost 2. So.
All right, you guys.
It's-
All right.
If anyone's wondering, it's 4,236,000.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Could you repeat that number for the public again?
It is 4,236,000 over 5 years.
Thanks, Matt.
And does this include or exclude what we're currently waiting on for our SRF application?
It does not include. It does not include the project that's planned for the next summer either.
So that could potentially be added, which was
Added.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. So I think we estimate it was like $30,000, right, per year. Is that what you're thinking, Nicole?
if
we
we
receive
don't,
if we receive the funds, right? It's
we
a
don't receive the funds, right? That
wow. I mean, I guess, yeah. I mean, you could, yeah. I hear what you're saying now. If we didn't get approval,
right.
but
If we didn't
wanna
get
then build it in,
approval, but
yeah.
we still want to keep Libby Tozier, that's one of the things that we thought was pretty important,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we're not just going to ignore it. We're going to have to bring it back up on the table and talk about it.
Yep.
So you'd add another 700,000 to that.
Yeah, that's what it
Whatever
was.
700.
So
800,000.
we're about 5 million. Back up to 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Just in improvements. Correct. Correct. Go ahead, Robbie.
So, indulge me for a minute. I'm going to go back in time. When we first built the middle school, when Sabatis built that building, our plan was to close down the primary school in a matter of 4 or 5 years. So when that building was designed, it was designed to add 4 classrooms to it on the baseball field side, 2 on the bottom, 2 upstairs. The sprinkler system has a dead end for that. The water system has a dead end for that. And when we first started discussing the addition, that was the plan. And then it got blown up. It got blown up because we needed more gym space. And we needed resource rooms. And we needed a lot of stuff. So that's how that whole building out on the playground got added in. But I'm saying if we would close Libby Tozier with the enrollment we have now, we could literally build those 4 classrooms on that end of the middle school, 2 downstairs, 2 upstairs, and house a significant number of students in that building. And then there's also a plan that we could add 2 more on the other side of it. Because our plan was always to close down the primary school and add on to the middle school. But when we built the middle school, the state gave us $9 million to build that building. And we did not want to ask for the taxpayers for any more. So that's the building we built for $9 million.
Robbie, you talking grade levels or classrooms?
I'm talking classrooms.
Rooms.
4 classrooms, though, won't fit.
No, but what I'm saying is, yes, 4 classrooms won't fit, but 8 classrooms would. You could carry you could carry 2 more grades there, is what I'm saying. So you could literally bring, we could bring 2 more grades.
3 and 4.
3 and 4 down to the middle school.
And keep it
we could close Libby Tozier.
through 8.
Huh?
And keep it through 8.
And keep
right.
it through 8. And then that way there, we wouldn't have to, because it's got city water, city sewer, and that was the important reason why we wanted to build it there, because we didn't think Carrie Ricker could, with an addition at Carrie Ricker, the sewer system or the waters would work. So consequently, I'm talking in the future, that is an option. Now, what we ended up with was nothing near that. Because, like I said, we had a gym, we had a cafeteria, we had a completely added school tied on to the building. And it got way blown out. Now, what could we build those 8 classrooms for? Would be significantly less.
Yeah, that's not. I appreciate you taking us back into time, Robbie.
Yeah.
Back into time.
Go ahead, Matt.
Robbie partially answered my question, and it was going to be about why would we, or during that process of developing the addition proposal, why would we put the elementary grades at the middle school level? It was my understanding through the consolidation committee that Carrie Ricker was built to be added on to, and not keep all of the elementary school kids in one campus. But
the problem was that we looked into we would have to, the sewer system and the water system.
Yeah. It was just the expansion of that.
You'd be drilling
yeah.
a new well.
Yeah.
And you'd be adding on to the sewer system to carry those 2 more grades.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Doug.
Again, just the brainstorming part. The only thing, if I'm adding, I like the idea. The only thing I don't like with Oak Hill Middle School is I don't think that one single access road would allow for any more people to be in that school. I think the parents, it would be a logistic nightmare trying to get the flow of
with
traffic.
the addition, they had 2 accesses.
Did they? Okay.
They did.
See, that would make a huge difference.
They built 2 accesses in.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, because as is, I think
Yeah,
I could.
right.
It would just be crazy, But yeah. Where Where was the second access?
Actually, on the other side of the building, that's in front, that house right there.
Mhm.
You know where that trailer is?
Right.
On the,
So
right on the
one
other
access
side.
is on
One
one
side,
side of the trailer,
one-
and the other access is on the opposite side of the trailer.
Right.
What do you guys what are your thoughts on that? I mean, Robbie, I don't know that I had thought about that. Like
Could we
every
rank-
time I look at the plans, right, from before, it is expansive.
It blew up.
Right.
During the whole process, it blew up.
Yeah.
I have a wonder.
Ooh.
This is a wonder.
Go for it.
I wonder what it would look like to have pre-K 6 at the middle school and 7 and 8, or 6 or pre-K 5 at the middle school and 6, 7, 8 at Carrie Ricker. It's just a wonder.
Flip flop.
Mm.
I had even thought about pre-K at high school and have an additional class, early education, early childhood education, or babysitting, or things like that. CDS, and the 30-year-olds may change that, make that a little bit more difficult, but I think that there's maybe some flexibility with where they live, what grades are in which buildings.
I was just going to ask for clarification, Christy. So, if you flipped schools, essentially, right? Like, would we still need what was Robbie was talking about, the additional?
Probably.
Okay.
Like, we would have to do something. My brain always, on big complex problems like this, my brain always goes to a SWOT analysis, which is like strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So thinking about one of the major threats that we have in this whole project is the public support. We know that they're never going to approve this giant increase for a building. I'm also hesitant because when we closed SPS, we promised them it wasn't a sneaky way to get an addition. So I just want to name that and say that out loud.
I appreciate you saying that. Yeah.
Because that was never our intent.
Right.
But I do think when you look at the numbers, we need to really think about the strengths of making changes, opportunities in doing so, what are the weaknesses in doing it, and what are the threats in doing that. And think about it in a way of trying to predict the future, but also thinking about it from a fiscal standpoint and what's best for continuity for kids.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Thank you, guys. That's awesome.
I'm just saying, with the 8 classrooms, the plan was originally that we would close 2 schools, which would save us a little over $1.2 million a year in maintenance and, heating costs and electricity and all that. And then we would be losing our debt service at the middle school, which we've done now.
Yep, that's right.
So I think the total savings was going to be around a year was going to be probably around 1.5, 1.6 million. So by saving that amount of, but now we've already closed Sabattis Primary, so you're going to save 600,000 closing Libby Tozier, and the debt service is already gone. So all you're going to save is that 600,000. So is that enough to pay for a 30-year? For 8 classrooms.
Well, but plus the 4 to 5 million you got to sink into it.
Well, that's what I mean. You're gonna have to, but it's gonna be debt serviced anyway. You're gonna make payments on it. So my thought is that by closing that building, you're gonna save a significant amount on the payment. Plus, you're gonna have a lot more efficient building with energy control, better LED lighting. Heating is going to be better, you know what I mean? And you already got the physical plant there. You don't have to add on. You don't have to add a new boiler. You don't have to add a new water system. You don't have to put a new septic system, you know what I mean? All that stuff is already there. So I'm talking I'm talking long term. Because
sure, but
if you look at 5 years out, it's going to cost more.
Yeah.
If you look at 10 years out, it's going to cost more.
What do people think about that? I'm just curious. I mean, I know we're just getting started with this conversation, but what would be maybe what would be helpful is, what would you guys like to see, from me, and from, the team in regards to like information or, proposals or, and I'm just thinking like, Robbie, I didn't think about that aspect of it, but it's like, I don't know, yeah.
Go ahead, Doug.
I guess I still kind of would like to know how much of how much money of a loan could we get if our payments were going to be $1 million a year, and how long? If we had like $1 million a year for 5 years, how much of a loan could we get for that kind of payment? Do you know what I mean? And then we kind of know what amount of money without changing anything that we would have to pay in theory, because we're anticipating having to sink $1 million into Libby Tozier, give or take, for $5 million, right, over the next 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of gonna, one way or another, some of that stuff is gonna have to get done. Will it be $5 million? I don't know, but that's our anticipated. That's what's recommended. If we are anticipating $1 million a year anyway, what lump sum of money would we have available? Could we build an addition, or I don't want to push an addition, or go modular for $5 million? Or what are, you kind of sometimes you need to know what's the pool of money you have for $5 million for a loan. Then we could probably weed out what are our options better to actually get a new building or a new infrastructure, as opposed to putting $5 million into a kind of older, dated infrastructure, So I guess my question, to sum it all up, is I'm just curious, if we had a loan payment of $1 million, what kind of loan could we get, and what would be maybe some of the length of terms for that, that kind of thing, just to throw that.
Go ahead, Nancy.
So, are you saying that we would pay $1 million a year in a loan? Because that seems really high.
For the 4 years, I think what he's trying to do is compare it to the the 4 to 5 million for Libby
Yeah.
Tozier that we would have to expend over the next 5 years.
But if we were going to spend $1 million next year, let's just pretend, I assume we would go out and get a loan for that $1 million, and our payment would be $35,000 or $60,000 or something. We wouldn't be. The way I'm hearing what you're saying is we're going to spend $1 million a year on that payment.
Yeah,
and that scares the daylights out
I'm
of
just
me.
trying to figure out if we had, say, $5 million available or something, or
Okay.
we were going to invest $5 million anyway.
Mhm.
Is that a pool of? Could we do something with that? What would be our options with $5 million?
Okay.
Or and maybe we could, instead of paying $1 million a year, as we're kind of anticipating now, we had $5 million. We could spread that out over 30 years. What would be that payment? I
Okay.
guess I don't know. I'm throwing it out there. I guess
Yeah.
to think that way, as opposed to just throwing the $1 million at trying to fix something. What do we have? What are we going to anticipate spending? And could we spend that lump of money better?
I would like to know which items on this 5-year capital improvement plan are absolutely must-haves, cannot wait, necessary, required to do. And then I would also like I'm going to send you off into the future a little bit further. Right, this is 5 years, but if we're going to put money into this building and keep it, what does the next 5 years after that look like? Right, this goes along with what Scott's trying to do and try to get us all to be forward thinking, instead of just solving it for this 1 year, because you're just, it's even more than kicking it down the road. It's like the snowball, right? So that's what I would know. And then I would like to know more about this lease space program from the DOE.
That's specifically for modulars,
It
is that
is
correct?
for mobile or modular units that are portables. There is a subsidy. There is a lease availability. There is a lease to purchase. And, what we can do with that, and I think the options are out there on whether or not we do Libby Tozier or central office or put those modulars somewhere.
Yeah. So I just want to make sure that I'm accurately recording what you're looking for. So the lease, the modular lease project, right? So like, what does that entail? You know,
Yeah. What do they
Some-
look like? What does it
right, right.
mean? How do they become permanent?
Sure.
You know, because again, we want to think. We don't want to just think of the now.
right. You're curious about the, you know, essentially a 10-year plan. I mean, we'll do
At
our best for
least, yeah,
that, for
yeah.
capital improvement for Libby Tozier.
At least.
Nicole,
Yeah,
we,
go ahead.
We had looked at modulars in moving 7th and 8th grade up to the high school because we would have room for modulars up there.
For that on that land, yeah.
On that land behind the tennis court, I think is where we had thought, in between the tennis court and the building.
Yeah, there's a spot back there,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's, you know, there's a lot of logistics
But
with
then
that.
again,
Yeah.
Then again, you run into the part about gym availability.
Yeah.
And
UAs and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yep.
Security. I'll put that out there. Security.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
walking between the building and
Well, they would be connected,
modulars.
is what we had planned
Okay.
when we had talked about it. They were connected.
Okay.
Right. Yep.
Sorry, Matt. One more thing. One more, just before you talk. I just want to make sure, because the last one was just the like classroom space at Sabatis at Oak Hill Middle School, right?
Yeah.
And like I say a building project addition, but just for
8 classrooms.
yeah, specific number of classrooms. 8 classrooms. Got it.
And if we did flip the schools, like Christy had mentioned, then you're right back into the issue with sports fields.
Yeah.
So you would have
That's a good
to.
point.
They do. Like, we would have to just upgrade what we have there, I think.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, the only other
bust them.
the only other consideration that came to mind when you first mentioned that was, do we have to retrofit anything at the middle school? Yeah, for little guys.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all. That's what came to mind initially.
Yeah.
So just, but I mean, those are things that we can look into, right?
Go ahead, Matt.
I was just going to make a point in the interest of keeping, again, age groups close together. There's a lot of land between Libby Tozier and Carrie Ricker.
Mm-hmm.
And if the discussion is what are we doing with Libby Tozier, it would make sense to me to, if we're exploring modulars, putting them around Carrie Ricker, moving the younger kids up.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate that, Matt. Thank you.
All right. Oh, Diane, go ahead.
I just want to say something real quick. The people in this district, in these 3 towns, have moved and moved kids
Yeah.
so many times. It's time that we stay in a position where they don't always move. I mean, we went from parents having kids at 4 different schools, and it's been crazy. And every time it's like, oh, no, we're going to close the school. We need some stability sometime so that we can, I mean, it's crazy.
I appreciate. No, I mean, I think it's an important sentiment to bring up, Diane. Right? Like, you're right. I mean, since I've been here, you know, we've moved a number of times. Yeah. Yep. And stability is important. I mean, we just moved everybody over from SPS to Libby Tozier and Carrie Ricker, right? Yeah. Yep. No, I appreciate. It's an excellent point. Thank you.
And it works both ways, too. You have the kids who are nervous because they don't know where they're going, or the kid who gets the same classroom as last year and
Yeah.
goes, why am I still here?
Yeah.
What changed?
Right. So, yeah.
Well, I was
Oh.
just going to say, if this is a 3-year plan, 4-year
Yeah.
plan, 5-year plan, there's probably not going to be a whole lot of movement, right?
Yeah,
'Cause they're not
that's
gonna do
that's
anything.
fair,
Yeah.
We're
Scott.
not-
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, we're not
This
looking to
isn't
do this
happening-
like
So
tomorrow.
everybody knows. I don't know where the camera is. This is not happening this year.
Scott Fife said. He's on record. It's good.
All right. Do you have enough
Yeah, I really
to
appreciate you
take
guys.
this to the next level?
It's really good.
Next
Lots of
meeting?
fun. It's good. Thank you.
Super discussion, guys. Thank you. And moving right along to our new business, 7.1, to approve Jessica DeVito as the French teacher at Oak Hill High School of Regional School Unit Number 4 as recommended by the superintendent.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Yay. That's all I can say.
Yay is right. I got you, Diane.
All right, all those in favor?
Right.
Any other business this evening? Does anybody know why that's on the agenda? We need efficiencies everywhere, guys. Committee reports. So this evening we have finance and facilities, and then CAI technology.
Yep, I'll start out with finances. 4 months. We're 4 months into the school year already. Can you believe that? And we're at 33% of the year completed as of October 31st, 2025. General fund revenue year to date, we've received $7,683,174.88, which is 33.21% of anticipated revenues. Last year at this time, we were at 47.59%. General fund expense year to date, we've expended $6,974,193.25, plus encumbrances, which is 31.23% of our budget. Last year at this time, we were at 30.48, and the biggest factor with that is we didn't have a budget at this time. So we were adjusting, we were still reducing the budget until we got one passed. Moving on to adult ed revenue, year to date, we've received $16,082.54, which is 17.99% of the adult ed anticipated revenue. Last year at this time, we were at 27.01%. And last year, we had a higher contribution from the town assessment on a monthly basis and a lower assessment in state subsidy. Adult education expenses year to date, we've expended $28,676.55, which is 32.1% of the adult ed budget. Last year at this time, we were at 41.46. Our pace is lower than last year at this time due to the change that was made in the position at the beginning of last year from 0.75 director to half 0.5 director. School nutrition revenue year to date, we've received $143,544.53, which is 14.04% of the school nutrition anticipated revenue. Last year at this time, we were at 14.03, almost exactly our current pace. School nutrition expenses year to date, we have expended $302,768.89, which is 29.61% of the school nutrition budget. Last year at this time, we were at 31.31%. Last year in October, we had spent about twice as much as in our equipment lines as compared to this year. We replaced a dishwasher at Libby Tozier last year in October. This year, it was a freezer at Oak Hill Middle School. Our spend on fund is very compatible, dollar for dollar. There we go. Any questions? All right, moving on to facilities. We went over the capital improvement plan for all the schools, and we will continue to look at that and revise it as we go. And that's just about it for facilities. Everything besides that is going really well. So.
Did you want to mention the SRRF?
Oh yes. The our SRRF application was submitted. Marco mentioned that in his report, so that's why I skipped it. And the audit is ongoing. Any other questions?
All right, thank you, Robbie. Who's doing our CAIU, Diane? Thank you.
All right, Christy, Nancy, and I met with Shelley tonight. We had a discussion about early release Wednesdays, and more information will come as we get it. Shelley's planning to survey teachers and parents and see what's going on with that. Shelley also shared a formal curriculum review cycle that we are going to adopt. It has 4 phases: study and evaluate, a plan and development, implement, and a monitor and refine. And she has come up with a formal curriculum review timeline. So this year we're in the study and evaluate, plan and development for ELA. And then the following year will be science, and then math, and then social studies. So we're going to be in a timeline to review all of the curriculum.
All right, and Chrissy, technology?
No,
No?
I'm just
Oh.
wondering if we can give Shelley. Can we give a copy via email to the entire board so they can see this timeline? Thank you.
Oh, gotcha.
yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Anything else? All right. That brings us to our board member comments. Go for it, Nancy.
I have a suggestion. I don't know if we have either a web design club or class or coding class or something at the high school, but it would be awesome if we had some type of program offering of that nature that we could then partner those students up with to redo our RSU4 webpage. And if that goes really well, maybe the next year we start working with towns to work on their web pages. Well, I was specifically thinking Sabatis, but
Is it okay if I say something in regards to that? So Nancy, just something that, just thinking about Stephanie, I know she's not here this evening, but when she was in Auburn, she led a student group. So it was essentially, it was a computer technology group that she led at Edward Little High School. So not that I'm volunteering her for that, but it's just like, I mean, she definitely has experience with it. So, you know, she could have some input on that.
Go ahead, Robbie.
Yeah, thinking about our presentations, Marco, we were talking about, I know we hired a new technologies teacher this year. I'd like to see what we're doing as far as technology-wise. I call it industrial arts, but whatever. You know what I mean? So I would like to see us getting into, I know we got a great program at LRTC, but not all our students can get in. So I would like to have us be like a fallback on that. And I know if our budget has to grow in that line, I know usually it's 0, but this year we had to put money in because we were made LRTC. It was a percentage of our student population, right? We had to contribute to LRTC.
That's correct, Robbie. So, I mean, we paid, it was minimal for the
Right,
amount of, I
right.
think it was off the top of my head, it was right around $8,000, you know,
So
for us to participate.
I know I would like to see some of our students that can't get into LRTC maybe grow our own program a little bit better here. You know, maybe, you know, bringing, you know, contractors in that they, you know, students can work with and they can help facilitate that program and grow it a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe a presentation on, you know, the plans there.
Sure. The nice thing is Bill's been with us this is his second
Yeah.
year with us. And he's done an amazing job, you know, in, you know, industrial arts. I mean, you know, the stuff that they're producing is top quality,
Right.
you know, so he's doing a lot of work down there. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with highlighting, you know, his classes and the things that he's offering. you know, and it's like, how do we expand those offerings, you know, to include other technologies, you know? So, I mean, I don't see that being a problem.
I
Robbie.
mean, when I was in that class, we built sheds and sold them.
Oh, yeah.
We built
Yep.
that shed that's outside the staff parking lot,
Mm-hmm.
and that's still being, that's still being used. That
Yeah.
was actually a classroom for a while.
Yep. Did you tell me too that you guys ran wire in the building too?
We did.
We just have some
Yeah.
kids do that. It's fine.
Yeah.
That was a
matter
joke.
Fact,
That was
matter
a
of fact,
joke.
we
I'm not
ran
really
all the
doing it.
first Cat 5 wire
See, there you
for
go.
the computers. But yeah, so I'd like to see a presentation on that program.
Sure, I got you. Thanks, Robbie.
I know all this talk about construction, things like that. I think it'd be a good time for us to think about maybe, I know movies have trailers to be able to sell this movie. You watch a trailer. We need to sell the school budget to our communities. So maybe think about maybe some high school kids who can come up with some sort of a trailer that our kids could be in it, talking about their school and what's going on, and that could be played at the school budget, maybe before, whatever. That might be a way of getting parents there because they know their
Sure.
kids are going to be up there.
Yeah, I thought you were going to ask me to be like in a commercial. Is what you?
No.
You
No,
guys
but-
remember Jolly John?
Yeah. You could stand on top of
Dresses
the
a
school.
banana. Sorry, dating myself. See, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. You guys remember.
That one I
You guys
don't know.
remember. No, it's a great idea, right? I mean, even when I started in July, when the referendum was up, I mean, just it was my face. Not that people want to see that, but it's like, just saying like, hey, we're here, like support, I mean, really, it wasn't even support the school budget. It was, please go and vote, right? And that's what I feel is appropriate. Like I'm encouraging people to get out. How they vote, that's totally up to them, and I respect that. But I hear what you're saying. Diane, is a way for more involvement in selling what we're doing. I hear you. It's good.
Anybody else? Go ahead, Christy.
So I had the pleasure of attending the soccer game on Saturday with my 5th grader, who's also a soccer player, and he was so starstruck, and like how awesome the Oak Hill boys played. He was like, and there was quite a few of his 5th grade friends, and they were all on the same bench, and they were just like, "That's gonna be us in a few years, guys." Like it was just so cool to see like the sportsmanship and like how engaged the crowd was, and the boys played so hard, and it was really cool. So. I know it wasn't a win, but it was a win for our younger Oak Hill Raiders that were really starstruck by the bigger kids.
That's awesome.
They totally did, but I'm not going to say that.
Anybody else? Oh, go ahead, Robbie.
One more thing. I want to thank Nancy for stepping up again and coming back onto the board with us. And I know what time it takes to do a good job, and I know you like doing a good job.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you.
I was just
Oh, sorry.
I was just looking that up actually because I know we've been. So we do know. So Dennis, is it?
Yeah, Dennis Mallet.
Mallet.
Yeah.
So Dennis Mallet has been elected. For our
As a write-in.
As a write-in.
Yeah.
And thank you, Nancy, for stepping up and joining us for these last few months. And we look forward to continuing to work with you on your position at Select Board. 'Cause you
Whoa.
have
Congratulations, Nancy.
you
That's
have all
great.
they have. Yep, you have one. Good job. Anybody else? Okay. Moving right along, 11.1 to enter into executive session pursuant to 1 MRSA 405-6D labor negotiations.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none. All those in favor? It's unanimous.
And we do have to ask, right, Sam? Don't we have to ask you to be a guest star?